They're very independent, multi-dimensional people. As you know, this whole twilight phenomenon has put the Quileute Nation in the middle of the domestic and international spotlights.
And is that something that the nation embraces? Do they like all the people coming in, all the fans and all the attention?
There's a variety of different reactions to this phenomenon. Some people embrace it, some people aren't real sure about it still, some people are like, But for the most part, I think they've done an amazing job in welcoming, because they are one of the most hospitable tribes I've ever met in my life. One of the things that is important to this nation is that the tribal members themselves can utilize this attention and this phenomenon to showcase the true culture, that their true story be told, and it be told through their art and their dances and their music and their food. And so that's exactly what we're here to do.
When we come back, we'll have a lot more from La Push. First up, we'll see how Twilight has transformed the economy in La Push.
And we have entrepreneurs as young as a 4-year-old named Leilani who makes these beautiful beaded bracelets.
From ravens to wolves, we'll head out to First Beach to learn the ancient Quileute legend of creation. And stick around to hear one of the Northwest's most ancient and complicated languages. Welcome back to Twilight Spotlight. I'm Naiba Reynoso. One of the most important things on the Quileute Reservation is the enterprise, from well-established businesses like the Oceanside Resort to budding entrepreneurs. Thanks to the Twilight phenomenon, business is booming.
The tourism that has started here has kind of pumped up some of the local businesses. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely, and thank you for asking that. One of the things that is important to this nation is that the tribal members themselves can utilize this attention and this phenomenon to showcase the true culture.
Fans flock to Quileute-run shops looking for Twilight souvenirs, but once there, have the opportunity to purchase authentic Quileute art.
Several of the Quileute members showcase their art in the Oceanside Resort, and we have entrepreneurs as young as a 4-year-old named Leilani who makes these beautiful beaded bracelets. Mr. Morgenroth, one of our respected elders, linguists, storytellers, he makes these alder rattles in addition to these alder paddles. And this is a cedar bracelet that one of the Quileute members makes, and cedar is very important to this nation, in addition to some beautiful cedar baskets and woven cedar hats.
11-year-old Julia Ratliff is one of the youngest artists to have her works displayed.
I wanted to have you look at these pieces that she does. She puts sand, this is authentic Quileute sand, from First Beach into these vials, and then she puts Jacob on them, or Team Jacob. And she's also turned them into these beautiful little necklaces with a paw print.
How did you come up with the idea to do this?
I watched the movie and I seen my cousin was doing them, and then I thought I'd bead some necklaces and put bottles on them with sand from First Beach.
She's just an example of the spirit of this nation, again, taking what was put before them and turning it into something positive and something wonderful.
So this is Jacob's Java, and we're here with Rhonda, the owner of this business. I understand it's a relatively new business that you opened. How did it come about?
I just decided that I needed to join the Twilight craze, and I resigned my position with the tribal court that I'd worked with for about 17, 18 years.
So it seems like Twilight, the craze and everything has helped the economy here a little bit?
Yes, yes. The little bit I've been open, I've met people from all corners of the world, and that's the best part, is meeting the people and watching them go crazy over the Twilight.
Don't go away, because when we come back, we'll have a lot more from the Quileute Reservation. Up next, we'll find out how Roy Black inherited a famous grandson. Then we'll sit down with tribal elder Chris Morgenroth III to learn the true story of the Quileute. It's all just ahead on Twilight Spotlight.
welcome to beautiful
Thank
First
you.
Beach
It's
in La Push.
amazing.
I know.
So what can we do now?
I got a great idea. Let's go look for some werewolves.
Let's go. I love that idea.
Me too.
I'm
Let's go.
Team Jacob all the way.
Me too. Let's go. Hi, Mr. Black.
Hi, teacher. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Hey, I was wondering, is Jacob home?
He's out fishing.
He's fishing.
Yeah, that was his fishing boat.
Oh, may I come in?
Yes.
Thank you.
With his family name Black printed proudly on his mailbox, Quileute tribe member Roy Black Jr. has embraced the title of Jacob's grandfather.
So do the fans just love it when they meet you? What's that like?
I eat breakfast in town in Forks once a week, and I walk in there after this twilight thing, start going pretty heavy there. As soon as I walked in the door, she says, she goes, "Here comes Jacob's grandpa." I was kind of embarrassed about it, because there was quite a few people in there. There was a little girl in there. I don't know, she's probably 7 or 8 years old, and her brother probably about 9 or 10.
Right.
And her mother asked me, she said, "Could I take a picture of you?" And the girl grabbed hold of me, and it took me to death grip,
So what is Mr. Black's answer when asked, "Where's Jacob?"
Well, Jacob called me this morning, and he said he was going fishing because when we get to rainy weather, the fish will start to run. So, and I taught him when he was a young boy that to not only respect the river and the fish and the ocean, but take care of yourself. So
I heard in the Quileute culture that you have this saying that you only take what you need.
that's the way I was brought up mostly from my grandfather and grandmother, who was Tommy and Elsie Payne, and lived by the river called the Kalawa River next to Forks. My grandmother used to weave these baskets so fine. She would put the berries that she grew and that were wild around her place in a basket and weave it shut. My grandfather had these 2 big boulders on the river where she would put the berries in. It's like a little cold storage. In the winter time, when we wanted berries, she'd just go unweave the basket.
Yeah, perfect.
And the berries would be nice and fresh.
In the book Twilight, you're portrayed as werewolves, but your creation story is actually transformed from wolves.
The only thing I know is what I learned from my parents and then from my grandparents is that we do come from the wolves. And I hand that down to my children and my grandchildren.
Sure.
And now I have great-grandchildren. When people ask me that question, if I get, and I go, "Oh!"
Fictionalized versions of the Quileute creation story are easy to find, but we set out in search of the truth.
Let's go see if we can find an elder that can tell us the true story of the Quileute.
Oh, that'd be great.
What do you
Let's
think?
go.